Hey traders, Michael or Minifrost here. You're here for another episode of Common Sense Market Analysis. Today is Turnaround Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. You're looking at a daily chart of the SPY or Spiders, which is the proxy for the S&P 500. What do we have on the docket today? Well, let me start by saying this. If you guys enjoyed my video last night, the start to my theory of everything that we've been seeing that's going on within the market, then fasten your seatbelts and buckle up. Because today, I'm absolutely going to blow your guys' mind. Remember how I said yesterday we need some more puzzle pieces, some more information to kind of continue building this theory? Well, guess what? Today, we just got a whole laundry list. So we're going to build a little bit more on my theory, and then we'll get into some more of the technical stuff within the spiders as we always do. And before we kick things off, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it helps me and the channel out a lot. I've been working really hard on these videos. I've been doing a ton of research. You know, this stuff is not easy at all, especially when a lot of people think that you're absolutely cuckoo. So please, if you could like, comment, subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, I always love to hear what you guys have to say. I like to think of this as a team effort. Okay, you guys have been giving me some pretty good information to work with on this theory that we're building. Alright, so buckle up because shit is about to go down. So as we know, everyone has been fantasizing over the 666 number. That's obviously a given. And then yesterday, we talked about a number that most people were overlooking, and that number is 33. We explained how the number had great importance not only in our lives, but also we portrayed it back to the market. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, I highly recommend going back and watching it, as that was pretty much the whole start/basis of this thing that we're working on. Alright, so now we're talking about the number 666, we're talking about the number 33, and I believe I found the last piece to the puzzle. Well, not exactly. It's not the last piece of the whole puzzle, but I believe it's the last piece of the puzzle regarding a set of numbers that we have to be focusing on. It completes a smaller picture out of the bigger picture, if that makes sense. And by the way, you could believe me if you want, I just paused my recording software, and guess what number it just landed on? 333. I'm telling you, you can't make this up. I swear on everything, you guys could believe me if you want, there's no accidents or coincidences. Alright, got a little sidetracked. But the numbers that we're focusing on, and we need to look at this as single digits, just for now, I promise it'll all make sense in a second. We're looking at the number 6, 3, and then we're also looking at the number 9. 3, 6, 9. Okay, you need to get those numbers drilled in your head. Now, there was one comment in last night's video that really sparked this entire thing. And he essentially gave me a quote from Nikola Tesla. And guys, this is one of the reasons why I love having you guys comment down below and telling me what you think, because this is a team effort. This is a community thing. Okay, we're all working on this together. And that's how essentially we advance as society, is we gather great minds that think alike and we work on a solution. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who Nikola Tesla is, I regard him as one of the smartest dudes in the entire world. He was an inventor, he was an engineer, a futurist, and basically the guy's quote that he said in the comments was, "If you only know the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have the key to the universe." That's a quote from Nikola Tesla. Okay, just a little bit more background knowledge about Nikola Tesla. His main focus was electricity and frequencies. Okay, not a lot of people know about frequencies, but if you do, you know how important it is throughout the universe. Okay, that's a whole topic of discussion for another time. Another thing that you guys need to know that you might not is that he essentially found a way to provide unlimited energy to people around the entire world for free. And that's the word that killed him, free. Okay, obviously the higher up peoples don't like that word. So guess what they did? They killed him. There was also a ton of other stuff that he was working on, and we don't know if this is absolutely 100% true, but there was a lot of speculation, and I might be going down a rabbit hole, but there's a ton of videos and information online that you could research yourself, but he was on the verge of creating time travel, and that could have been another reason why he got killed. Not to mention, he worked on some pretty other cool things, if you want to call it. He tried working on making things invisible. He tried working on teleportation. If you guys want, you can look up the Philadelphia experiment. I just watched an entire documentary about the Philadelphia experiment this weekend, and let me tell you, it is absolutely insane. Okay, so the quote really got me thinking. 369. That is essentially, according to Tesla, the key to the universe. Now, people say that 369 is like a hidden 33, the number that we were talking about last night. If you do 9 times 3 and then you add 6, you get 33. That's only the beginning. But a lot of other people who focus on numerology say that the 369, we'll just call it the trifecta numbers, or maybe even the universe numbers, it's a hidden 33. And as you guys know, we were talking about 33 pretty much for the entire half of yesterday's video. Alright, if you stuck with me so far, this is where shit is about to get real. So buckle up. So there's a lot of different reasons as to why we believe 369 is essentially the key to the universe. There's a lot of voodoo with these numbers. And I'm about to display the voodoo right in front of your eyes. And then we're going to relate it back to the market. We're just putting the puzzle pieces together and we're forming the bigger picture. Okay, so please stay with me here. Okay, so if you multiply 3 or 6 or 9 by any number at all, you will always see 100% how it's related back towards the 3 and the 6 and the 9. Now here's what I mean. Let's go over some examples. So let's start off simple. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, probably didn't need a calculator for that one. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, that's pretty much the obvious. Now here's where it gets really, really weird. Let's do something like 5 times 3. You get 15. What's 1 plus 5? That equals 6. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do 3 times 52. You get 156. 1 plus 5 plus 6 equals 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. So any number at all, if you times it by 3, 6, or 9, it will always be related back towards the core numbers, the 3 and the 6 and the 9. Let's do another one. Let's do 9 times 2, 4, 8. And again, I'm just picking random ass numbers on my keyboard. Let's add that up. You get 2, 2, 3, 2. Let's add that all together. 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 is 9. Let's do an even crazier example, and I'm going to need to bust out another calculator for this. Let's do 3 times, and again, you can multiply 3 or 6 or 9 by any number. It doesn't matter. You will always find it related back towards the core numbers. So let's do 3 times 5, 7, 8, 1, 2, 4. Again, just totally random. Enter. We get 1, 7, 3, 4, 3, 7, 2. Let's add that all up. 1 plus 7 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 7 plus 2. 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. That's some really voodoo shit. But it's not only multiplication. Nikola Tesla was so freaking smart, this was just child's play to him. He focused on space, on time, on energy, on frequencies. These are all things that a lot of people just don't know. A lot of people just aren't familiar with it, even though they should be, because it's the center of our universe. It's essentially what controls everything. Like he said, if you understand the numbers 3, 6, 9, which are indeed biblical numbers as well, you will have the key to the universe. Now again, it's not only just the multiplication of numbers. It can even be extended to outside norm things, such as the speed of light. Search up on Google, what is the speed of light in miles per second? And that number is 186,282. Let's go add all these numbers up together. 1 plus 8 plus 6 plus 2 plus 8 plus 2, 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. The speed of light is somehow related to the number 9. So that's one example. What about another? What's the diameter of the sun? The thing that gives us light in a world full of darkness, especially how dark the world has been over the past few weeks, at least from what I've been seeing. The diameter of the sun is 864,000 miles. 8 plus 6 plus 4 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. What about the diameter of the earth? It's 7,920 miles. 7 plus 9 plus 2 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. So that's a lot of space examples, but what about time? As we know, time is more important than price. A saying that my dad used to say all the freaking time. Get it? Time? How many seconds are in a day? The answer is 86,400. And guys, I did my research before. I have a whole notepad in front of me. That's why I'm just shooting these numbers out. I'm not going to waste your time searching them up in front of you. You can do your own research. But there's 86,400 seconds in a day. 8 plus 6 plus 4 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. Like, come on. What about the amount of seconds in 1 week? That's 604,800. 6 plus 4 plus 8 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. It's always related back to the numbers 3 or 6 or 9. But as we take note and we start to build the puzzle pieces, we see that time is more related to the number 9 compared to the 3 and the 6. What about the amount of seconds in a year? That's 31,536,000. Add up all those numbers, and you get 18. Add that up, you get 9. But that's not all. We were only doing the seconds in a year, a week, an hour, but it's also related to how many minutes are in a week, how many minutes are in a month, in a year, and they all are related back towards the number 9. I think you guys get the point. Alright, so the moral of the story is that I can go on and on and on about the relationship of 3, 6, and 9. We finally figured the last number to the puzzle. It's 9. We were talking about 3 the other day. 6 is the obvious with the devil's top. And then now we got the number 9. And I have plenty of more examples, but I'm not going to go into it in today's video because essentially I'd just be going on another rant if I'm not already doing so right now. But I think you guys get the point that these numbers are super important in our lives and in the universe and in math and in time and in space. But now the real question is, how does this relate back towards the market? Well, the short answer is we don't exactly know yet, but capital B-U-T, maybe add an extra T in there for fun. We did get a small taste of these numbers 3 and 6 and 9 all across the board today. Let's start with SPX. The high today in SPX was 6699. Also, if you look at the volume, and I'm looking right up here, here's all the information that I'm referring to, you can see that today's volume was 3.03 billion with a B. Okay, so that's only just the start, but we can obviously give that a funny how that works. Let's go back over to the spiders, and let's see what else we're working with. So as of right now, I'm going to be focusing on the open and the close, and then some other stuff. So let's look at the open. Today's open was 666.72. 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay, what about the close? The close is 663, the number 3.21. 2 plus 1 is 3. But then here is where it gets really, really voodoo and freaking weird. Today, we are down $3.63. And as a little cherry on top, percentage-wise, we're down 0.54%. 5 plus 4 is 9. I mean, guys, this is absolutely freaking insane. Call me weird, call me crazy, call me cuckoo, I don't care. There are no accidents or coincidences in the market and in life. We closed at that number for a reason. We opened at that number for a reason. We were down $3.63 for a reason. What that reason is, we obviously don't know yet. But there is something going on. I feel it in my gut. This doesn't just happen by accident. And this is where you guys come in. This is why it's a team effort. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about all of this. The 3, 6, 9 numbers, how it's related back towards the market, maybe something more about Nikola Tesla that I don't know of. And if that guy in the comment section didn't bring up Nikola Tesla, I would have never gotten this information. Which is why I believe it's a team effort. We got to come together as a community. Send me your ideas. Send me what you think. Send me an email. If you think it's crazy, send it to me anyway, because I am a little bit crazy. Aren't we all? So we need to keep putting the puzzle pieces together. There's a reason why the market is showing us the numbers 3, 6, and 9. Just like Nikola Tesla said, if you have an understanding of the 3, 6, 9 numbers, you have the key to the universe. And that can possibly give us the key to the market and the next most likely move that she wants to make. And with that said, we'll just leave it at that. I think I ranted long enough, but I think it was a pretty good rant if I say so myself. Leave a comment below what you think. So with that said, we can finally get into some of the technical stuff in the spiders. As you guys already know, we're down 0.54% today, and we had a little bit of a turnaround Tuesday. And guess where we made today's low? Right at the most recent breakup candle low. The most recent breakup candle low is at 662.17. We made a low today of 661.98. So we know the importance of these breakup candle lows. So if we do start to get below the breakup candle low, guess where the next destination is going to be? You guessed it, it's the pivot number at 660. It's a big fat round number. We've already seen its importance right here and right here as we came up a little bit short. And yes, we did come up a little bit short. So that can technically constitute as a first time, best time situation. So on the way back down, she might want to spike the number by a little and even possibly getting down to the 20 period moving average being home base. You know, maybe we do get the devil's top after all, and this could be the start of it all. But we don't have enough certainty to actually call that out because as of right now, she's still in a very bullish situation. We're still above all the major pivots that I've mentioned in previous videos. We're above all the moving averages, so yes, the trend is your friend, and we haven't gotten a sign and or signal of a trend change. So we need to be the umpires calling balls and strikes looking at both sides of the tape. And we still need to kind of build out this theory as well. I think we're getting closer and closer to figuring out some hidden meanings that the market is currently showing us. And it's not only the market that's showing us these meanings. I'm also seeing these numbers in my life. Yesterday I talked about how the song 33 God by Bon Iver started playing, and then as I'm making this video, I paused it at a pretty important part in the video as I'm diving into all this, and guess what number shows? 3 minutes and 33 seconds. 333. No accidents or coincidences. I swear on everything that did happen to me today. I think we all could use a little intermission break, so let's go over to inside the numbers starting with the 0 dark 30. But first, if you're interested in swing trading, if you click the link in the description below, you can get a free swing trade right from the Lazy Swing Trader system. Okay, we're rocking an 87, I think it's actually 88% win rate as of right now this year. Last month in August, we had a 100% win rate. So it's definitely something to take advantage of while it's here. The link is in the description below. So with that said, we could jump right into inside the numbers. Now let me tell you this, today definitely wasn't an easy trading day, but if you stuck with it and you stuck with the plan and you executed, then traders got paid, in which I did and a bunch of other traders did. So the main thing that we were focusing on throughout all of the morning, and you'll see why it was a little bit of a harder trade this morning, I'll show you that in a second, but the major thing that we were focusing on was trying to close candles below the pivot. Closing candles below the pivot was the bear case situation. Now, here's the 0 dark 30 notes, and as stated, we had the morning pivot at 664.95. But as the session started, and you can see if we scroll up on the inside the number notes, we had another pivot-ish number, and that was the first area of overhead resistance at 666.75. Right here you can see we can treat this number as a pivot-ish number. And this was indeed a pivot-ish number. As you can see, 666.75 is on the board, and just from this box right here, you can see the importance of the pivot. We kept playing ping pong back and forth, but what's important is we had a line in the sand where we knew the trade was wrong, and that was essentially taking out the previous all-time highs. And we were using the ES in relation to that, so as you can see, I drew a line at the high, which is 6756.75. And right here, we came up one tick short. So we never got to the line in the sand number. Now back over to the spiders and comparing the spiders to the ES, this was basically a spike the high and rip it right back down. As you can see, we poked our head slightly above the highs in the SPY. But then what's important to note is that we started to close candles below the pivot right here. Got some decent movement down below the pivot. And then the next 5-minute candle, what was the high? 666.75. right on the freaking dot. But again, what's important is we stayed below and closed candles below. Right here again, we tested the pivot towards the upside. The high was 666.76. Spiked it by 1 penny, but never closed candles back above it. And that was the bear case situation. As you could see, look at this freaking rocket ride towards the downside. So if you exercised patience, and patience is something that we talk about every single day in the live room, inside the numbers, in the videos at night, if you followed the plan, if you executed the plan, then you got paid. You had to sit through a little bit of some back and forth activity, but that's why patience is so important, and having a plan. If you don't have a plan, you don't have the pivot numbers, you don't have the support and resistance numbers that we have for the SPY and the list of 13 different markets that we offer, then you need to come over and check out Inside the Numbers / the live room. And guess what? If you purchase the live room, you get Inside the Numbers for free. So you get the SPY commentary, the morning game plan, the 13 support and resistance markets, and then also the intraday updates and stocks on the move. You can pause the video, read the notes, and go back to the charts to double check the work. Let's go take a look at my #1 favorite market leading indicator, Camp IWM. She's down 55 cents or 0.23%. Little side note, 23 is also an important number. You guys have been talking about it in the comments in yesterday's video. Apparently it's also associated with the Illuminati. I don't really know too much info about that. But again, if you guys have any information that you want to share with me that could potentially build onto what I've been saying about the market and just shit that's been happening on with life, then please leave a comment down below and even send me an email. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. It's the best part of my day. I look forward to reading your guys' comments every single day. So we had one of those infamous spike the high and rip it right back down. Today we made a new all-time high of 247.18. 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. Just throwing that out there. So if you take note from yesterday, we did come up slightly short of this big time breakup candle low. We'll go ahead and make that blue. Okay, so we did come up short. That does constitute as a first time, best time situation. Now look what we got below. We have this gap right here at 238.89, and that also happens to coincide with the 20 period moving average, which we have been extended from. We haven't hit the 20 period moving average in a while. But as umpires, we're always looking at both sides of the tape. And the other side to it is that we're still in a bullish situation. We're above all the moving averages, we're making new all-time highs, we're a stone's throw away from the all-time highs, so we just need to look at both sides of the tape. Can't really do anything too much at these new all-time highs in Camp IWM. I guess we can throw out there that we are approaching, and we're not quite there yet, we're still a little far away, but there is a big fat round number at 250, a milestone number for Camp IWM. That's something to look forward to and put in our back pockets. Let's take a look at the transportation department. And I just realized this, look at the volume today, 163.99. There's that 99 number again, and then you also got the 6 and the 3. Funny how that works. So we've been toying around with this pivot number for a while now. And for pretty much all of last week, we started to close candles below the pivot. Staying below is the bear case situation, and she had the opportunity to go test the 200 period moving average, which she did do right here. She also had the opportunity to go ahead and test the upwards trend line and the support zone that we have, but she never got there. So I guess we can consider that some unfinished business if we start to close candles below again. Take note that today we did not close below. We closed above the pivot. We ran a test towards the 20 and the 50 period moving average. And we pretty much closed right on the 20 period moving average. Now, we're still trading within this channel. So staying above the pivot, she has the opportunity to go ahead and test this downwards trend line. And if we get above that and close candles above, then we're in for a leg higher. The flip side situation is if we get below the pivot, get towards this support zone, the support zone has the downwards trend line, you got the 200 and the 100 period converging soon. So there is some support down here for sure. But if we close candles below all of this and the upwards trend line, then we're in for another leg lower, and that is a flare up in the air. We're not there yet, but we are coming towards the apex of the triangle. Someone flamed me in the comments for calling it a precipice. Apparently I was using the wrong terminology, so we'll just go ahead and call this the apex of the triangle, the channel. Whatever you want to call it, it's the same shit. It acts the same way. When we get to this point right here, the transportation department has to make a decision, whether she wants to go up and go for a leg higher, or she wants to go down for a leg lower. But when she gets to this moment right here, where the two trend lines converge, time is up, and she needs to go and make a decision. Is it really a surprise that we're down 0.66% in the Qs? Again, a rhetorical question. The answer is no. There's no accidents or coincidences. So we did not, and I repeat, did not make a new all-time high in the Qs. We had turnaround Tuesday today, so had a little pullback. Nothing too crazy. Just take it at face value. The Qs are down $4, but we're still in a very strong position. Still haven't seen a sign and or signal of a trend change, so we'll stay on the lookout, but there's really nothing wrong with the chart. It's just a small pullback in an uptrend. Go ahead and clear some of these lines that I had on the chart from earlier. And I just want to point out that we have some unfinished business right here at 595.32. You could call it 595. That's a big fat semi-round number. Unfinished business. And then you also have this gap down below at 590. Another big fat semi-round number. What's going on with the financials, XLF? Well, we were 1 penny away from retesting the previous all-time high, and that was at 54.50. Today we made a high of 54.49. So that's a little interesting information, and look where she went right back to, the 20-period moving average, home base. She also ran a test of the previous breakup candle low. The low of that breakup candle is 53.64, and today we made a low of 53.63, spiked it by 1 penny. We still have this unfilled gap right here, but this does constitute as a first time best time situation. So now if we get below, we'll call it 53.65, then she's going to want to make a test or attempt to this big time breakup candle low and or the 50 period moving average. But we're still above all the moving averages for now, so the trend is indeed your friend. There's nothing really wrong with the chart. If we take a quick look at the weekly chart, as you can see, there's nothing wrong with the chart. Very strong uptrend. Therefore, if there's nothing wrong with the financials, then there's nothing wrong with the overall structure of the market. Last but not least, we got SMH shaking my head, the semiconductors, smash mouth. And she's continuing to grind up, making new all-time highs, which we did today. We didn't finish at the all-time high, but we did make a new high. Very, very strong market. Above all the moving averages, crazy strong uptrend. Seems like we're making new all-time highs every single day. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but SMH is very, very bullish. So we're not going to be looking for shorts at these all-time highs. All we can do is look for some pullbacks. And as of right now, we haven't really seen any. But the next destination on the downside that SMH wants to head to is going to be the most recent breakup candle low at 316.27. And then also you have the entrance to no man's land at this low. That low is at 312.60. So now we can start to create a zone of support. The back end number, the entrance to no man's land, is going to be a bull bear battle. If we do get below and close candles below no man's land, then the destination that she wants to head to is to fill this gap right here at around 305.25. That also happens to coincide in the vicinity of the 20 period moving average, but also we have a midpoint number right here that is the most recent breakout area. And as you guys know, markets love to come back and retest the most recent breakout area. Have I told you guys how much I appreciate each and every one of you? Without you guys, these videos or MSF would not be possible. That is true and accurate information. We're going to pull the ripcord for today. I'm absolutely wiped. This is probably going to be a longer video than normal, but I just had to go into detail and explain more towards the theory of the 369. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys like this change to the videos. I really do enjoy talking about this, and I love hearing what you guys have to say, and then taking what you guys have to say, and then building on top of it. It's a group effort. So with that said, we're going to pull the ripcord for today. You guys know I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm Mini Frost. We'll be back ready to go in uniform for tomorrow's morning session and the video later that night. I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day. Stay safe and take care now, folks.